Hey everybody, welcome into To The Point. We're all doing well on this Tuesday evening. Beautiful day here in New Brunswick, and we got lots of different topics to dive into, including the Masters, which starts on Thursday. Cannot wait for the Masters. We'll look at the betting favorites, the storylines, the groups going into this. So that's forthcoming later on in the show, a Masters preview. Also going to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins Toronto game from last night. Didn't watch every second of it, but I watched some of it with the national championship game going on in the middle of it. But there's interest there. You got the Rangers who are red hot, and I want to talk about Panarin's season and the Matt Rempe effect that team really skyrocketed when he was called up. We'll look at that. Dallas looks like they're going to win the Central Division after they crush Colorado on Sunday night. So we have storylines there. Later on in the week, Friday, will be the next podcast. Friday morning, doing a show. We'll talk about Masters Day 1. We'll look into UFC 300, which is on Saturday night, which is another huge event this week. We're a little over a week away from the NHL regular season ending, thank God. So we're on the home stretch here for big-time sporting events. And we got a big-time sporting event last night. It started about an hour and 20 minutes too late with a 10:20 tip-off. But the UConn Huskies defeated the Purdue Boilermakers last night to win their second straight back-to-back national champions. It was a 6-point game at the half, and for most parts of that first half, it felt like it was a game. Zach Edey was dominant from Jump Street. Klingon, great player, but he couldn't really do anything to stop Zach Edey in the paint. And you go through the game, and I think Zach Edey played okay. He finished with 37 of the 60 Purdue points. If you look at it that way, you go, wow. But at the same point, he had some turnovers, made some mistakes with the ball. And you can make the argument Purdue's offense was too Edey-centric. But at the end of the day, maybe Edey's the best player in the game. He's won back-to-back years as the best player in college basketball. But the best team won the tournament. UConn had the most talent. They lost their starting 5 from last year. Every player gone because they were seniors. So they went into the transfer portal, found guys like Cam Spencer, who was at East Carolina and Rutgers. They bring him in as a graduate transfer. They find Newton, who had been playing at 2 other schools, just like Spencer, similar story. And he comes over, joins UConn, and that team had depth, they had size, and they just played a beautiful brand of basketball. Danny Hurley is a phenomenal coach. He knows what he's doing. And I never thought they were going to lose the game. I was texted by a friend about an hour or so before tip-off. And they said, who do you got? And I said, UConn. And they said, do you have UConn minus 7.5? And I said, yes. And they won by 15. UConn was a better second-half team. In the final minute and a half, they went on a 7-0 run, and they never looked back. They were never in danger of losing the game. Cam Spencer, to me, was the best player last night for UConn. If you look at his production, he was all over the floor. He had 2 block shots, made his first 3 attempts on the floor, just had confidence. He finished with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, but had a couple blocks, 2 steals, 2 offensive rebounds. But you had Newton, who had 20, Castle, 15, Klingon finished with 11. Diarra had 9 points in 13 minutes off the bench, shooting 4 for 6. In those minutes, he played with great size and made it more difficult for Edie to get the ball in the paint. But it's a great story. It's a great season. Always the topic is, well, how are these guys going to do in the NBA? It's a useless topic of conversation when the tournament's going on because it's not about the NBA. It's about the tournament. It's about winning the national championship. You can have that ring the rest of your life. Donovan Clingan is not going to play in the NBA, but he's going to have 2 national championship rings that he can wear around. Greg McElroy, quarterback for Alabama, you might remember him, wasn't a great quarterback in the NFL. But he won a couple national championships being a game-managing quarterback under Nick Saban, great defenses, had Julio Jones on one of those teams, and he won. Sometimes that's what you remember. Mac Jones, pretty unremarkable NFL career so far. Really, really poor if you look at it. Sorry, Patriots fans, but he's won a national championship. Devontae Smith's won a Heisman and a national championship. It goes on your resume. So all that to say, Zach Edey. I thought he had a great tournament. Purdue tried to pull a Virginia. Virginia back in 2018, I believe, lost in the first round to UMBC. Embarrassing, the first 1 seed to lose to a 16. The next season, Virginia went to win the national championship. Purdue wanted to accomplish the same feat. But ultimately, they ran into a buzzsaw. They did get to the national championship game, defeating tough teams like Tennessee, being in an easier bracket than UConn somehow, even though UConn was the overall number 1 seed. But they had a successful tournament. Zach Edey was dominant. His footwork looks better. His play around the rim, his touch. He's a huge guy. And to bring it back to NBA prospects, I think Zach Edey's going to get drafted. And I do think he'll play minutes in the NBA. Because of that size, because of that touch. I'm not saying he's a starter, but coming off the bench, playing minutes, if DeAndre Jordan is still in the NBA, Zach Edey can be in the NBA and play minutes for a good team. He's improved a lot from this year to last year. Worked on a lot of things. Talked about Matt Painter giving him a chance. Was not highly recruited out of high school. Only started playing basketball when he was a sophomore in high school. And he won 2 College Player of the Year trophies. That alone is incredible. Danny Hurley went on the Pat McAfee show, and he also said it last night on CBS. He's already talking about a three-peat. He's already talking about next year, where it'll be a whole new crop of players that he'll have to get through the transfer portal. Because something we know now in college sports, college athletics, you don't win with freshmen. You don't even really win with sophomores, and you need juniors, seniors, or graduate transfers who are older than seniors to play on your team. Because they have the experience. They've gone through wars. They've played at lesser programs. They've gone through tough experiences. And they're better than the 18-year-old who's fresh out of high school. I'm saying this because you look at Duke, who Coach K's been gone a couple years. John Shire's replaced him as head coach. But really, the mandate's been the same. Let's recruit talented freshmen like Cooper Flagg, who's coming in to play in the NCAA next year for Duke. And he's highly touted. People love him. They're already saying the 2025 NBA draft, he'll be the first overall pick. And while it's a brand name and it's sexy and it might get you a few games on ESPN, I don't think it necessarily means you're going to be successful as a program. Kentucky. Kentucky's been the one and done school for a long time. They find talent, they find a young kid, he comes in, and Coach Cal really looked at the Fab Five in Michigan and said, this is how I'm going to build a team. He hasn't won a game in the tournament in 3 years. And I talked about Coach Cal being on the hot seat when he lost to Oakland this year. But it was reported he's going to come back, Calipari's safe, and even said at a presser he would be changing his approach to recruiting and to building a winning team. Well, we find out yesterday, and it's approved and confirmed today via the athletic director at Kentucky, John Calipari is leaving the program. John Calipari, who had won a national championship with Anthony Davis, who has produced more NBA talent than any other head coach over the last 20 years, which is impressive, but it's not that impressive when you realize he's only won one national championship. But John Calipari is leaving Kentucky, where he had over $39 million left on his deal, to become the next head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas was a fine program. They missed the tournament this year in a very tough SEC that included Kentucky. But Eric Musselman became the new head coach at USC. So he got an upgrade of a job, more money, leaves Arkansas. But there was a rich billionaire in Arkansas who knows John Calipari, who loves the program, can become a booster, and offered Coach Cal a 5-year deal, we don't know the money, to go in and quote-unquote fix the program. It's a big ask. Calipari is a great recruiter. He's been doing it for a long time, extremely effectively. Here's Arkansas's finalizing a deal with Kentucky's John Calipari to become the program's next head coach. The deal is reportedly for 5 years and will pay Calipari around $8 million annually. And the team will also have a budget, an NIL budget, to go out and recruit players. $5 million to offer players to come play for NIL. So he's taking $1 million less to leave Kentucky to join Arkansas. But he clearly sees this as a better opportunity, a new lease on life, if you will. New challenge. I think Kentucky, I don't think they saw this coming, but I think they're going to be fine with it. Because he hasn't been winning there. They're paying him loads of money, which now they can get rid of. And now it's about finding your next head coach and keeping the program relevant while you make that transition. Because recruits are used to seeing John Calipari. They're used to saying, okay, we're going to come to Kentucky, play for Coach Cal, play our 1 year, and go to the NBA. You can no longer say that. And I've said this, I don't think it's the right strategy just to recruit freshmen, just to recruit young players. Obviously, you do it, but you're not winning with those names. Duke, Kentucky, USC aren't threats, aren't going deep. Duke somehow got to the Elite Eight this season. They were a horrible team. They were not great. They did not have a whole lot of talent. They got crushed by NC State twice in 2 weeks. You can do anything with money. And if you have more money in Arkansas than a coach has at St. John's, Rick Pitino, for instance, I think kids are going to go to Arkansas. Pitino's the better coach, the Big East, the better college football conference, the better programs. But everything people say, Tom Izzo was on the Dan Patrick show last week, and he says, being in conversation with these kids, money comes up well before playing time, well before anything. It's just how much are you going to pay me to come play at X school? It was a fascinating interview where he was really forthright about it and saying it's difficult to navigate. If Arkansas is going to have a whole lot of money, then they're going to have a leg up. But to me, this will be a success if John Calipari does what he said he was going to do at Kentucky. And that's not just recruit freshmen and try to build a winner that way. Diversify your assets. Go find players elsewhere. Just because they started at a lesser program because they weren't recruited out of high school does not mean they don't have value now. Look at the East Carolinas. Look at Bowling Green. These programs that mean nothing to you, but they might have a diamond in the rough sitting there that you can scoop up for the right price. It's a fascinating move. Calipari stays in the SEC. He will play Kentucky next season. The rivalry is there. I love that for college basketball. You don't see this. Coach K, Roy Williams, Dean Smith, Tom Izzo, Jay Wright until he retired. They all stayed. They stayed at their program. They built winners when they could, and you managed to stay relevant. Calipari is leaving for new opportunity in Arkansas. Good luck. Razorback Nation, good luck, because he hasn't had a whole lot of success at Kentucky. And I think he's a much better recruiter than he is a head coach. And he's recruiting freshmen and only freshmen. He will not win you a national championship. Period. Let's talk about the women's final for a minute. South Carolina, like UConn, the best team. They win it all. Caitlyn Clark got Iowa to 2 national championships. No, they didn't win either of them. Excuse me. But to her credit, they played the better team in both games. And that's all that really matters about it. She was phenomenal. At the end of the game, she had to hoist up shots, 3-pointers, because Iowa didn't have a chance otherwise. South Carolina had too much size. Cardozo had too many offensive rebounds. And Dawn Staley, who, like Danny Hurley, lost all 5 of her starters from last year's team that only had 1 loss. 5 new ones, had 37 points off the bench in the national championship game, while Iowa had 0. She built a team. She built a program. It was her 3rd national championship. Caitlyn Clark's phenomenal. She was the headlines, all of it. But South Carolina had the better team. They had the better coach. They were down 14-2 early in the game. They never panicked. Stuck to the game plan. Caitlyn started missing shots in the second half, and it was too much to overcome for the Hawkeyes. Looking at Caitlyn Clark, Her college career is over. She's going to the WNBA. She's going to be the number 1 overall pick. What the WNBA has to hope is that Caitlyn Clark is such a star that the eyeballs, that the viewership, that the care that women's college basketball had will carry over. Because the final averaged 18.7 million people. Incredible number. 3 p.m. in the States on ABC. Much better time than the men's game, I'll add. Incredible number. It was a fine game. Not a whole lot of drama. But she's a star. I equate it, and this is different. If I had to make a hockey comparison, and she has much more personality than this player, but Sidney Crosby saved the Pittsburgh Penguins. He kept that team there. They were going to go bankrupt, file Chapter 11, and they would likely be moved by the NHL. Sidney Crosby came in, he saved the market, and they're still alive and well in Pittsburgh, in a stable spot. Wayne Gretzky moving to LA, when he chose to play in Los Angeles because they had a chance to win, but also to expand the market and to get people to care about hockey out there. And that's why you see guys like Austin Matthews from Arizona playing in the NHL today. It had an effect. Caitlyn Clark is getting the average Joe to watch women's sports. And other than the Olympics and soccer, Simone Biles, and I'm likely missing a name, but I don't think there's another female athlete that's done it like Caitlyn has done it. Katie Ledecky, maybe it's another Olympic athlete because female sports doesn't get the platform for a multitude of reasons. Some of it's because people don't care. Some of it's because their marketing sucks. And some people won't just give it a chance. They saw Caitlyn Clark and said, wow, this product's pretty good. It might be better than the men's product. Let's watch the women's game. They have to hope that they don't know jack shit about the NBA, about the WNBA. They might not know any other player other than Caitlyn. But you'll go and watch Caitlyn and you'll learn and watch the other players, and then you're invested. You'll go, wow, this is interesting here. The Liberty are pretty good. Kia Nurse is a damn good player, playing for, I think, Los Angeles now. You have eyeballs, you have intrigue. People are buying in. I think that PWHL has helped the Women's World Championships with the eyeballs, with the intrigue. I know Canada played the United States last night. It ended in overtime. I didn't watch the game, but I think it did pretty well. I think people are caring more about it. People are more likely to tune in. And that's what Caitlyn Clark has to be for the WNBA. Carry over the momentum. Have people invested. Have people interested. It starts somewhere. Michael Jordan was a brand, and he helped the NBA in so many damn ways. Deals, viewership, people caring, people wanted to be like Mike. I think a lot of young girls are going to have what young boys did with Steph Curry, where you want to pull up from mid-court and shoot a three. It might be it's going to be horrible for coaches because you're going to have kids who have no reason jacking up a three, but they're going to do it and they're going to say, you know what, Caitlyn Clark can do that. And then the coach's job, because it's a coach, you rein them in. But if you can have somebody try something in a practice or try something in their driveway and it continues to build it. I mean, as children, I don't think you just pick up a stick and say, I'm going to do this. I think you see somebody do it. It's trial and error. You need to see somebody do it. You're visual learners. You go, holy crap, look at that guy out there. That's pretty damn cool. I want to be like him. That's what Caitlyn Clark is doing for females, but I also think younger boys. They're saying, I want to shoot like Caitlyn. They might not know who Steph Curry is. Steph Curry's 37 years old. He's going to be out of the NBA in a couple years. Caitlyn Clark's young. She's just arriving. She's going to be making crazy money. Ice Cube is offering her $5 million to not go to the WNBA to play in his Big 3 league. Which she's not going to do, but hey, shoot your shot, Ice Cube. I don't blame him. You're trying to make your league better. You're trying to get talent. That $5 million will be more than she'll make in the WNBA and sponsorships. 100%. But she wants to go to the WNBA. But that's what she's doing. That's what the leagues have to hope. The PWHL, I think, has been successful for a couple of reasons, but none of it, and I'm going to repeat this, none of it has to do with the players. Because I don't know a fucking player in the PWHL. I can't name one. I don't know their personality. I don't know what they look like. Something that hurts it is you wear the full shield. You just see hair in the back. They're all the same. I'm sure it's a fine product, but fair is fair. I'm not going to say something's great when it's not. I mean, that's just me. Find a nice liberal, find a Democrat, they'll tell you it's great. I'm not. I don't believe in handouts. So, but you're seeing the product. You're seeing how good it is. PWHL has been good because they've gotten the promotion, because they've gotten the brand deals. It's on TSN. People are buying in. Why now more than they have in past years? I have an idea. I'm not going to share it because I think anyway. I think it's phenomenal what Caitlyn Clark has done, what she's carried on her back the last couple of years. The viewership, the people, the media attention, all the stuff she has to do for the sport, let alone just go out there and play, is something else. And I mentioned this. The WNBA starts in May. The draft is at the end of April. She'll be playing games again in, I think, a little over a month. So you won't have to wait long to see her out there again. Which is honestly good. Keep the momentum. WNBA schedule goes from May to October, maybe November, I believe. Through the summer, other than the Olympics, which it's in France, it's a time change there. I'll watch the Olympics, of course, but I mean, it's not the Winter Olympics. Winter's far superior to summer. Hot take, but not really. But you have the Olympics this summer. You'll have golf majors. But not everybody loves golf, and the PGA Tour is not as good as it once was without guys like Jon Rahm and Brooks Koepka, which we'll talk about later when we preview the Masters. So you have that kind of product deteriorating. No hockey. Baseball, every damn pitcher's elbow's falling off. You might have nobody left by the end of the season. And then, what else you got? Preseason football in August. But it could be a huge summer, another huge kind of launching pad for female athletics with this summer. With the WNBA, with Caitlyn Clark, with Kia Nurse, with some other players. I'll watch it more, certainly. I think it's fantastic. Because, again, I don't just watch the NHL because it's men playing. It's a good product. It's a good the NFL. I don't just watch the NFL because it's men playing football. It's a really good product. I have this Apple phone. The battery sucks sometimes, but it's a good product. People buy it because they like it. For too long, the pitch for female athletics is come support us because we want to guilt you into doing it. And I know some of my viewers won't like hearing that, but it's absolutely the truth. That was the mission statement. Please come watch because nobody is watching us. That's a horrible sales pitch. Why would I want to come do something that nobody else is doing? In particular, in a society where it's all groupthink and I don't want to stand out. What this has done is saying, hey, what we're doing over here is pretty damn cool. Our product is pretty damn special. And this unicorn player, this Steph Curry, but in a female body with a ponytail who might be a better shooter than Steph, yeah, she's over here kicking ass and taking names. Come view us. See how that's a different sales pitch than the latter? See how it might be a little bit better? Just a thought for a lot of these leagues. That's why golf needs to do tours, because you can say, come watch all the best players, not come watch some of the best players and a bunch of guys who found down at the 7-Eleven who won a putt, chip, and whatever contest to come play 9 holes. Who gives a fuck? Great couple weeks for basketball in general, for college basketball. Congratulations to South Carolina. Congratulations to UConn. And congratulations to John Calipari for leaving Kentucky and going to Arkansas, because I thought your ass would be grass. Let's move to hockey. The Leafs beat the Penguins last night. Vancouver beats the Golden Knights. I'm going to give the Maple Leafs credit here. They're playing good hockey. And although they played a sleepy game, I don't blame them for playing a sleepy game last night. They still won the sleepy game. It was a Monday night, late April. Pittsburgh was great in the first period. They dominated the first period, but after that, it was a Leafs game. Austin Matthews was fantastic, which he has been really the second half of the season. Got to 65 goals. Great. Florida's hit a skid. Do I think Toronto can beat Florida? I'm still reluctant to say that because I think Florida's a really, really good team. And it looks like Toronto's going to play Florida, which to me is just a tough matchup because I don't see many facets of the game where Toronto edges out Florida. However, the way they're playing currently, the fervor, the way they're attacking every night, I see hope. I see a style, a heavier team that's still playing with speed, that plays with purpose. I like that they split up Nylander, Marner, Matthews, all on their own line. I would do that going into I don't trust Sheldon Keefe that he'll do that going in, but I would personally. It's always, they're doing the same thing with Toronto. You have all these same players. Riley's back, Matthews, Nylander, everybody, right? Which is true. But what if you did something different and you gave it a chance? What if you split the best players up, they're all in their own individual line, and you have 3 lines that can attack, and then you have a 4th line that can throw hits? It's something they've never done. They've lost doing it the other ways. They've lost putting them on a line, all 3 of them together, which never works. Marner, Matthews, same line. They've lost plenty doing that. But a balanced attack is not something that they've employed for an extended period of time, really, over the entire tenure of Sheldon Keefe being the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm saying, why not? Why not do it now? Why not say, you know what? We can do this. We have the horses. Matthew Nyes can help carry a line. Pontus Holmberg can forecheck and get these players the puck. Tyler Bertuzzi, since the turn of 2024, has been skating, has been playing with more purpose, has been one of the more consistent Maple Leafs, in my opinion, over the last 20 or so games. Matthews is playing at a level right now where he does not need Mitch Marner. In the past, he did, to set him up to create scoring opportunities because he didn't play enough with with that tempo, with that purpose, with that want to, a night in, night out basis. But you're seeing a shift. He's playing with Bertuzzi. He's playing with guys you're not accustomed to. Not to mention the Maple Leafs do not have Kelly Youngcroak in their lineup, who will be in the lineup come playoff time, who does help. And they'll get Liljegren, net negative, and Edmondson back at some point, net neutral, which will help their defense score, which will never be great because their defense score is the defense score. But Samsonov's won 20 of his last 23 starts, has beat every kind of opponent, defeats a Pittsburgh team that needed that game a whole lot more than the Toronto Maple Leafs did last night. Toronto might finish second. They might finish third. They've won with home ice. They've lost with home ice. It doesn't really matter to me personally. Playing in front of a Florida crowd, playing in front of a Toronto crowd, not a whole lot of difference. Not very loud. Florida because nobody's there. Toronto because the tickets cost $1,000 and you only have corporate assholes in there who don't make noise. So it's a library regardless, wherever you play. So, but they found a way to win the game. Jake McCabe gets an overtime winner. They stick it to Kyle Dubas. He doesn't get the 2 points. They have 4 games left. They need to win all of them. So while I still believe Florida is the superior team, can Toronto defeat Florida? Yes. I didn't believe that before. I do now. Doesn't mean they will. Doesn't mean I have them favored in the series. But I'd say a month and a half ago, Florida was a 2-1 favorite, maybe higher, to defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sizable. Because they had their shit together, and Toronto was a flat-out mess with a couple superstars and a fan base that wanted to will it into existence. But you're seeing the difference on the ice. It's not the fans. It's not media who will throw it down your throat and tell you bullshit and you'll eat it up because you're a fan and you want it to be true. It's happening. They're playing like a team that could do something in April, March, and who the hell knows, maybe even June, in a really weak Eastern Conference. Because getting to a conference final, Florida will be their trickiest opponent because they beat Tampa last year. And yes, they haven't beat Boston seemingly forever. But Boston, despite the fact that they don't lose, and they have good goaltending, and I like their defense, and McAvoy's a stud of studs, and he doesn't get enough love around the league. I don't trust Boston. I look at the firepower on the team and go, they're just missing something. Yet they've been winning all year, and credit to them. They still have an opportunity to win the President's Trophy, which they won last year, which is incredible after losing Bergeron and Krejci, that they could win the President's Trophy again. I don't think they will because I think the Rangers are just kind of rolling right now. But if you're Toronto, you look up and go, we beat Florida. We should be the favorite against Tampa or Boston, which is true. It probably won't be on the books, but internally, they should feel pretty good about themselves. While Carolina could beat the Rangers, I like Carolina a lot. Currently, I think Carolina is the best team in the East right now. Florida, full firepower, playing to their top level. I think Florida's the best team. But they're not currently. And I look at a team like Carolina with the additions of Gensel and Kuznetsov, the play of Aho, Freddie Anderson playing like a Vezina winner since coming back from a serious injury. They lock it down. They have the best defensive defenseman in the NHL in Jacob Slavin. who just eats minutes. Brent Burns still motivated. Rob Brendamore somehow still does not have a contract for next season, which is fucking mind-blowing. But that team really doesn't have a weakness. They don't have holes. They've beaten the Toronto Maple Leafs twice in the last couple months. Sure, you could say there was a bad call here or there. Oh, we got a point, went to the gimmick. I don't give a flying fuck. Did you win the game? Who looked better in the game? Carolina is dangerous. The Rangers, I give the Rangers credit. They were the team I got the most wrong. I picked the Rangers to miss the playoffs before the season started. And I'm going to take that one right in the chin because they're going to win the President's Trophy. So I'll take credit for their success because I think I motivated them, really, is what happened. Artemi Panarin, who will never be my favorite player, has been superb. Rangers have 110 points. They have 53 wins on the season. Panarin's fourth in league scoring with 115 points, which is incredible. I look at the Rangers were good. They're kind of nip and tuck with a lot of teams. At one point, they were right there with the Flyers. One thing that changed their season, changed the NHL, I would argue. The way games are played, the way they're kind of talked about. Matt Rempe being recalled was a seismic shift in the game. In the last 2.5 months, there have been more fights than the previous 12 in the National Hockey League, which is a pretty crazy stat. Over the last month, the game has risen to an extremely physical level. Brady Tkachuk set an NHL record with 17 hits on Saturday night against New Jersey in a regular season game where two teams are not going to the playoffs. Nothing to play for, but it was physical, there was nastiness, and Brady Tkachuk is just a complete pro. But you had that going on. The season's more physical. There's more hatred. The game has risen. Last night in a Leaf game, you had Crosby, who he took a high stick, took a puck to the face, ran into Matthews. He was battered and bruised all over the ice. Matt Rempe changed things. Being a loose cannon, playing against New Jersey, running all over the ice. Fighting Nick Delorier, fighting Matt Oliver, fighting Ryan Reeves in the middle of center ice at the Scotiabank Arena. Creating this tension, creating the opportunity for these guys to have a place in the game again. Having physical altercations, the Shane Pinto, Morgan Riley circumstance. The game just seems more important. It seems more primal than it's been in a long, long time. It was pleasantries. There were games where nobody throws a hit. Drive-bys galore. Hugs and kisses. Best to the wife and kids. Hope your parents are doing well. And you leave watching the game going, what the hell did I just watch? I sat through 2.5 hours of dull, bland, boring hockey. The Rangers, with their style of play and the Rempe recall, brought a new life to this season. And while I complain that the regular season is not over yet, it's not because of Matt Rempe. I think the overall game has been good. I just want the playoffs to start because I'm sick of watching New Jersey and I'm sick of watching Arizona and these teams that stink that need to go away for a while. But the Rangers have great stories. Alexis Lafreniere, who they're considering not giving a contract to. This season, he's got 56 points, 27 goals, career high. Chris Kreider, who doesn't seem to age, 70 points in 78 games. 38 goals, 4 games to play. I think he'll get to 40 again. 17 power play goals, 27 power play points. And for the old heads out there, he's a plus 18. Vincent Trocheck, who in first year with the Rangers wasn't all that good. This year, point per game player. Keandre Miller, 76 games played, healthy, taking a big step. Love the player. They just have good stories on that team. Matt Rempe's stat line, played 15 games this year, 2 points, +2, 44 hits, 5 blocks, averages 5 minutes a night with 69 penalty minutes. That seems about right. But they've been interesting. They've been competitive. They have the Islanders tonight in Long Island. They can play spoiler. A lot of teams look in that game going, please, Rangers, wrap up the President's Trophy. Do us a solid because we need the Islanders to lose tonight. Talked about the Penguins. They get a point last night, which they should be happy with. But they ultimately lose the game. They are currently tied with the Detroit Red Wings for the final wildcard spot, but Detroit currently occupies it because they have played one fewer game than Pittsburgh. However, if Detroit loses tonight in regulation, Pittsburgh would own the tiebreaker because they have a better win-loss record than the Red Wings. Detroit's hosting Washington. Detroit with 84 points, Washington with 83 points. Both teams have played 77 games, 5 games to play. Washington loses on Sunday night in overtime to the Sad Sack Senators. That's almost the season. Detroit would be 2 points up on Pittsburgh. They play Pittsburgh on Thursday in Pitt. They're at Toronto on Saturday night. Then they finish the season home and home with the Montreal Canadiens. Flyers in action tonight. They're in Montreal. They're at Montreal, at the Rangers, host the Devils, host the Washington Capitals. Flyers are a complete mess. Can't seem to get a win. See what happens. New Jersey's 5 out. They're done. They have a home and home with the Maple Leafs. Jack Hughes done for the season. Sabres also at 79 points. Not eliminated yet, but a must-win tonight in Dallas against the Red Hot Stars. We still have a race at the bottom. I said on Sunday, I think Pittsburgh getting in is the best story because you have Sidney Crosby. And him being in the postseason is more compelling than any other player fighting for it, including Alex Ovechkin, who I love, who's going to get to 30 goals on the season in the next 5 games, which nobody saw coming. And he's already got 850 goals in his career. He's gonna pass Gretzky. He is the greatest goal scorer of all time, whether he gets the nod or not, but he is, and he'll beat it too. So double whammy. I don't think Washington's good enough. Their team poses no threat. I don't know if any of these teams do. I think if you're the Rangers, you're happy with anybody. Quite frankly, I think Philadelphia would be your top choice, even though that's a heated rivalry. They stink. They don't have goaltending. They have injuries. Do they even like their coach? We'll see, but a lot to be decided, including that huge Detroit-Washington game tonight, 8 p.m. puck drop with huge circumstances because Washington at Red Wings, at Sabres, host the Lightning, host the Bruins, finish their season at Philadelphia. So battling some playoff teams down the stretch here to get in. You also got the Bruins playing Carolina tonight. Bruins win tonight, Florida lose. It really wraps up Boston winning the Atlantic Division for the second straight year. Toronto has 5 games left. Florida only has 4. And Toronto only trails them by 3 points. So they're still very much in the mix. And Toronto and Florida play against each other next week. Panthers are playing the Senators tonight, who they beat 6-0 last week on the road. So Ottawa should be coming in with some added motivation. The East is still up there. Out West, Vancouver, who dressed their third-string goaltender, had an impressive win last night against the Vegas Golden Knights. Connor Garland, who's playing in his 400th NHL game, can't believe he's played 400 games, had a pair of power play goals. They scored 3 power play goals last night. Beat Vegas, who they could meet in the first round. And they were down 2-0. They were down 3-2. And they found a way to win the game. They stay 5 points up on the Oilers. The Oilers have 6 games remaining. So they play all the way up till next Thursday, the Edmonton Oilers. With Vegas losing, they are behind Los Angeles. Los Angeles now holds the 3rd spot in the Pacific Division. Both have 5 games left. Vegas has Edmonton, Minnesota, Colorado, Chicago, and the Ducks. Pretty lax. Los Angeles has the Ducks, Flames, Ducks, Wild, and Blackhawks. So no playoff teams the rest of the way for Los Angeles. With the point edge, that could be enough for them to get it. Just with that schedule alone. Edmonton, Connor McDavid. Day-to-day. May not play tomorrow night for the Edmonton Oilers, suffering an injury Saturday night against the Calgary Flames. I don't care what it is. I don't care that he's sitting on 99 assists. He wants to get to 100. Doesn't sound serious. He can play before the season's over. But I don't really want him playing against Vegas for a couple reasons. They're a physical team. Those two teams really don't like each other after the playoff series last year. Could get physical, could get messy. Maybe there's some shots taken. Sit him out tomorrow night, even if he's 100%. You're saying you're resting. You're back in the lineup Friday against Arizona. Perfect opponent to get to 100 assists. We're on home ice. Friday night, you do it. After Vegas, they got Coyotes, Canucks, back-to-back, San Jose, Coyotes, and then Avalanche on a back-to-back. So they got a lot of cupcakes. That Avalanche game, I think that Avalanche game, which is on the 18th, which is the last day of the season, players are going to be sitting out. Because at that point, Colorado is going to be eliminated from their opportunity from winning the Central Division because Dallas is too good. And while they only have a 2-point lead on Winnipeg, they play Winnipeg on the road. They play Winnipeg on Saturday night. So if you can't take care of business then I don't know what you want. Go do it. Beat them on Saturday. Take care of business against the Minnesota Wild tonight. You'll be in good shape. You can rest Nathan McKinnon. You can rest Mikko Rantanen, who's currently injured right now, and be prepped for round 1 where you'll likely play the Winnipeg Jets. So that's how I view this. Winnipeg has that game in hand. They're in Nashville tonight. Nashville has a chance to clinch a playoff spot with a win tonight. Nashville is 6 points back of the Jets, so they're not going to catch them, but they can clinch a spot tonight. Continue to grow their lead for that first wildcard spot, not the second one. Which I'd rather play the Canucks in round one if I'm Nashville than play Dallas, personally, because I think Dallas is just a dangerous, dangerous team, and I think they're as good as anybody in the league. Anybody. Goaltending top to bottom, that team is loaded. There's still some storylines, still some injuries, still some things to iron out and take care of. Still teams looking to clinch a playoff spot with a little over a week to go here. Minnesota, St. Louis, not technically eliminated yet. St. Louis hosting Chicago tomorrow. Then they host Carolina, host the Kraken, and finish at Dallas. You got a loaded NHL schedule tonight. A lot of games mean something, even for teams where it doesn't. Toronto, Matthews, his next goal will pass Ovechkin for the most goals in a single season. It'll be the most goals in a single season since 08-09. Incredible feat. It'll be 66 goals in a season, something Alex Ovechkin has never done. He looks to get 70 in a season. Flyers, Montreal. Flyers vying for a playoff spot. Panthers, Senators. Senators looking to play spoiler. Panthers looking to maintain lead in the Atlantic Division. Capitals, Red Wings. Playing for a wild card spot and also playing for possibly the third in the Metro. Rangers, Islanders. Rangers looking to get closer to clinching the President's Trophy. Islanders have a 1-point lead on Detroit and on Pittsburgh. They want to keep going. Keep that Metro spot. Tampa, Columbus, nothing. Can't get you excited about that game. Carolina, Boston. Could be a playoff preview. Boston wants to win the Atlantic. You have intrigue there. And as I'm reading off games, we get breaking news here. New Jersey Devils star Jack Hughes has been shut down for the rest of the 2023-24 season with a shoulder injury, the team announced Tuesday. Hughes will undergo surgery on April 10th and is expected to recover in time for training camp. There are 4 games remaining on New Jersey's schedule. New Jersey's going to miss the playoffs, one of the biggest disappointments in the league. Here's the thing with them. Jack Hughes is a great player, but he gets injured a lot. And that's the only knock you can put on him because he's special. He can do things with the puck that a bunch of other guys can't do. I do think he's got leadership qualities. I do think he's got that whole group is just, they got some fervor. They got some balls, that family. They love to play hot. Look at Quinn Hughes, his season. I think he'll win the Norris Trophy. But he doesn't stay healthy. He's a small guy. And he had that shoulder injury earlier in the year. And he takes time off, and the season goes to shit, and then he comes back, and they can't really get it back on the rails, and now he needs shoulder surgery tomorrow. Tough break for New Jersey. They got to figure out what they want to do for a head coach. They're going to keep Travis Green, their current interim head coach. They're going to go with an outside candidate. Craig Berube is going to get a job. It's just about the job he wants to take. I'm so curious to see how quick he is to sign on the dotted line. Because it's easy to go, okay, well, Ottawa's a good job, I think. I'll take that one. April 23rd, when the season's just ending. I kind of want to wait till after the first round and see who loses. Because there might be some good jobs available. Gerard Gallant, I don't think expected to be fired, but he was last year by the Rangers. And Peter Laviolette is going to lead that team to a President's Trophy and should win Coach of the Year, but he probably won't even be nominated because it goes to the best story. Which, if you want to find the best story, go look up J.K. Rowling and read the Harry Potter series. That's a damn good story. It's about results in sports. But what if Toronto loses? What if Florida loses? There's teams. Would he want the Philly job? Played there. What if Torts goes into management? They need a new head coach. Would that appeal to him? What if the Oilers lose in round one? Just saying. They get Los Angeles. They get Vegas. What if they lose? Chris Knobloch, okay, yeah, he had a great turnaround, but he did the same thing that the former coach did, which was a whole lot of nothing. Don't win a championship with the best player in the world. Would that job be available for the right guy? I would think so. If you really like the candidate. Vancouver's not going to fire Rick Tocchet. He wouldn't be available. But I think there could be jobs. I think there could be good ones. So just saying, I'll take the Ottawa job. Or he's not going to go to Columbus, but I'll take that job. What if the Jets offered him a bunch of money? Because I don't think Rick Bowness is going to be coaching next year for a variety of reasons. Because his age, but also, the health of his wife, his health. He's getting up there. He's been coaching for over 40 years in the National Hockey League. Minnesota, job will be available. They could hire somebody tomorrow because they don't have a head coach currently. Well, do you want the Minnesota job? I'd rather wait, but that's another intriguing plot line to follow here. Other news, Sheldon Keefe says Connor Timmins will come in for Ilya Lyubushkin, and Nick Robertson and Noah Gregor will come in the lineup for Connor Dewar and Ryan Reeves. Joseph Wall will start and goal with Martin Jones backing up. Plan was for Samsonov to stay home and rest up. Good call. Bottom of the lineup guys. Have guys go in and play. Lyubushkin did not play particularly well last night. I don't think he's a lock to play in the playoffs, quite frankly, like he was a couple weeks ago. Coming back from his injury, hasn't looked all that good. I don't think there's a chance in hell Nick Robertson plays game one, but I think he could draw in because they seem to somewhat like him. Or he might go on Twitter and complain if he's a healthy scratch. So there's that. But interesting stuff there for the Maple Leafs, just making some lineup movements prior to their game, first of two back-to-back against the Devils tonight in Newark. It's Masters Week, everybody. You smell that? Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Vern Lundquist's last Masters. Amen corner. Somebody pitching it into the water. Somebody shooting an 82 on the first day. We're a couple days away from those sights and sounds. But coming into the Masters, it's still Live PGA. It's still you're coming together. You're seeing the best golfers play, which is fantastic. And what I'm fascinated by is the betting odds. Because it doesn't make sense to me. And why doesn't it make sense? Scottie Scheffler is the overwhelming favorite. He's actually the biggest betting favorite since Tiger Woods was back in 2013. Tiger Woods won that tournament, by the way. Scottie Scheffler, you can get him at plus 450 right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. The second betting favorite is not the defending champion Jon Rahm, who's the second best golfer in the world to me. It is Rory McIlroy at plus 1,000. Rory McIlroy, who has not won an event on the PGA Tour this year. He's won in Saudi. He's won another event that overseas. But on the PGA Tour, he's been horrible. He's bottom 10th in putting. In the last couple weeks, he has not been playing good golf, although he did finish third at the Valero Texas Open after a horrible start. But everybody other than Akshay Bhatia and Denny McCarthy played horrible at that tournament. But Rory McIlroy being a plus 1,000, the second betting favorite. This is the equivalent of the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Dallas Cowboys being up there to start the season as the betting favorites. And I'm telling you all to not bet on Rory McIlroy. Do not do this. If you want to bet Rory on Saturday afternoon at like 3 in the afternoon to finish in the top 5 if he makes the cut, I don't blame you. I've done it before, and it made me a huge payday a couple years ago. Betting somebody to finish inside the top 5, I love those bets. Do not do a Rory McIlroy outright winner. This is his 16th Masters, and he has never won. He does not play that well at this event. He's never won it. He's never proven that he can win it. Yes, he's a big name. Yes, he's the face of the PGA Tour, but that does not mean that you should be putting your hard-earned money on Rory to win it, because newsflash, he's not going to win it. Jon Rahm is third at plus 1,100. Third best odds for defending champion, the second best golfer in the world. I don't hate it. Throwing some scratch on it. Tee to green, dominant. Played phenomenal last year. Fought off Brooks Koepka to win the green jacket. To me, he's as good as Scottie Scheffler. We haven't seen him play in a long time because he's been playing on LIV, now he's asking LIV to have 72-hole tournaments. Well, he could have been doing that in the PGA Tour, but he took the money. But loud music, wearing shorts, which I have no problem with. If you know me, you know I love a pair of shorts. If you prefer to wear pants over wearing shorts, I think you're a psycho, but that's just me. But looking at this, Jon Rahm plus 1,100. That's good odds to get him to repeat. He's a great golfer. Another puzzling betting number. Xander Schauffele. Very good golfer. Not tall in stature. He can bomb it for a guy of his size. Very good. He's awesome on Thursday, Friday, and parts of Saturday. But when it gets to Sunday, this man great white sharts all over himself. He can't finish a tournament. He doesn't show up in the clutch. And the fact that he's a betting favorite over Brooks Koepka is personally offensive to me. Brooks Koepka, who's won 5 majors, more than Rory, more than Rahm, more than Scheffler, has never won a green jacket, has said it on Full Swing Season 1, this is what I've wanted. When you play golf, you see the majors, you want to wear that green jacket. Xander Schauffele. Again, you want to bet on Xander to finish T10, possibly T5. If he shoots like shit on Thursday, he will definitely turn it around, find his way inside the top 10, top 5 on Sunday, but not to win the tournament. No chance, toilet pants. Brooks Koepka. He's not my pick to win the Masters, but I like him. I like him to go far and to play really well. Again, he's never won it. Played awesome at the Masters last year. Fell a little bit down the stretch, but then he won the next major. So he used that momentum to build into his major season. He played really well at the majors. He always does. dialed in. His putting was good. Didn't flinch. Just John Rahm is that damn good too. Brooks Koepka, plus 2,000. Good value. And it's not just a live thing. This is just realistic. Jordan Spieth, plus 2,200. He's won at the Masters before. Jordan Spieth hasn't exactly had a great season on the PGA Tour. That doesn't mean he can't win. What I will say for this type of event, you've won it. You played the course a lot. You do get hints. You do figure out ways to either win or lose the tournament. Jordan Spieth trying to get off the schneid, trying to make it work with his caddy. He's always blaming. I wouldn't want to be his caddy because he blames him for everything and he bitches and complaining. But Jordan Spieth plus 2,200, sure, I'm not giving him my money. This next guy in the betting odds, he's my pick to win the Masters. Plays on Live Golf, has won multiple events this year, was a top 3 finish at Live Miami this past weekend. One of the best ball strikers in the world. His last PGA Tour event was at Riviera, Tigers course, which he won, by the way. My pick to win the 2024 Masters is Joaquin Niemann of Argentina. You look at him and go, okay, skinny, can't get it done. Some might say Gumby's got a better body than this guy. But he can bomb it. Fantastic putter. Sand saves. And he is going to win a major in his lifetime, and I think it's going to be this weekend. Cam Smith was a really good player. But we saw Cam Smith and go, okay, well, he's never won an event. And then he won the Open Championship. He won a major. And all it takes is 1 week to get hot, and you can do it. Joaquin Niemann is as good now as Cam Smith was when he won his major. Cam Smith, you can get a plus 4,500. But I look at Joaquin Niemann. He's damn good. But I like these next 3 guys, the plus 3,000s. Joaquin Niemann at plus 3,000. Rick, a.k.a. Victor Hovland, at plus 3,300, my guy. And Wyndham Clark, the U.S. Open champion last year, at plus 3,500. That trio, all really good talent, all find ways to make incredible golf shots. They just bring something different to the table. Wyndham Clark had that awesome fight with Scottie Scheffler at the Players. They battled. He's won an event on the PGA Tour this year. He's second in the PGA Tour standings behind Scottie Scheffler. So those 2 guys are awesome. You also have Matt Fitzpatrick, plus 4,000, major winner. I do like the way he plays golf to do well at the Wyndham Clark's dropped down. You can get him at plus 4,000, even better. Justin Thomas, plus 4,500. New caddy. See how that works out for him. Cam Smith, plus 5,500. Let's see. Max Homa, plus 6,000. Corey Connors, plus 7,000. Nick Taylor, plus 25,000. Looking for Tiger Woods. I know he'd be higher to the top because he's going to have people betting on him. Here he is. Tiger Woods, plus 15,000. He did his press conference today, which he does every year, where he says, I think if the week goes right, I can still win this event, which I don't. Him making the cut would be incredible. Watching him play at Riviera, hobbling around, not being able to walk the course was tough. I'm just not buying into him. Tee times for the first 2 days. Feature group: Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele. Fantastic group. Defending champion Jon Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick, and U.S. Amateur champion Nick Dunlap. Wyndham Clark, Victor Hovland, Cam Smith, another really good group. Afternoon feature groups include Tiger Woods, Max Homa, and Jason Day. Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa, and Tommy Fleetwood. We get lots of past champions: Phil Mickelson, Sepp Straka, Tony Finau in a group. Patrick Cantlay, Minwoo Lee, Ricky Fowler. Matsuyama, Will Zalatoris, a.k.a. Whiskey Mitts, and Justin Thomas. 89-player field. Biggest event of the year. Augusta National. Everybody looking to win the green jacket, but only one person can. Fascinated to see what happens. Talked off the top. People are freaking out about pitchers getting injured in Major League Baseball. Shane Bieber, Framber Valdez, Josiah Gray, Garrett Cole, Yuri Perez, Sandy Alcantara. This is about, from the age of about 9, people telling them to throw as hard as they can. You get to college, throw as hard as you can every pitch. The human elbow, the human body can only take so much. And that amount of torque, that amount of wear and tear is due to break you down. And that's what's happening. It's unfortunate because you want to see the best guys on the mound, but I know it's easy for the PA to blame the pitch clock, and it's just a farce. Don't buy in. But it's already started here. Blue Jays win their home opener last night against Seattle. Game 2 of a 3-game set this evening. Baltimore defeated the Red Sox today in the Red Sox home opener 7-1. You also had the Tigers winning this afternoon in Pittsburgh. We got the Angels, who are off to a 6-4 start. Mike Trout's got 5 homers. Second in the majors. All solo homers, by the way, behind Tyler O'Neill. The Canadian for the Red Sox, 6 home runs, batting close to 400. The Red Sox also got news today. Trevor Story, for the second time in his stint with the Red Sox, I said this was a stupid signing from day one. He needs shoulder surgery, out 6 months. He will play under 110 games in his 3 seasons, 3 of 6-year deal with the Red Sox. Complete disaster. Despondent about repair. They want him gone. Going to close the show by saying Friday, we'll be back Friday morning. Recap Masters Day 1. Preview UFC 300, which is on Saturday night. We'll look at the NHL games over the last couple of days. We'll start looking into the NBA as well because the playoffs are looming. And you only got 5 days left in the season. But I want to say thank you to Larry David and the entire cast of Curb Your Enthusiasm. If you're not familiar with the program, it's the show on Max. It's phenomenal. It has Seinfeld reunions. It's got Vince Vaughn. It's got Jeff Garlin. It's got the great, rest in peace, Richard Lewis. If you can access Max, a.k.a. Crave, do it. Watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's a half-hour comedy. If you don't laugh, you don't have a sense of humor. But it's truly one of the best sitcoms of all time. for me, there's a couple that come to mind, and they're easy when you're talking about the best sitcoms of all time. I'm going to do a list to end the show for all of you. And I'm doing this on the fly. And I love sitcoms. I've been watching them since I was very young. Because I could, and my parents were good, and they're like, okay, go watch Seinfeld, figure it out. And I did, and they were funny. But as I finish this up here, Curb is just, it's unique. It's so funny. Dry humor, Larry David humor to a T. And he's just really good. My top sitcoms. Top 5 list. Number 5. Schitt's Creek. I'm giving my Canadian edge here, but it's phenomenal. It's unique. It's funny. It's a show that incorporates gay culture, but you wouldn't know it because the show's so well written. It does it better than any other show I've watched, quite frankly. It's just phenomenal. Schitt's Creek, chef's kiss. Love it. Number 4, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Crude, vulgar, inappropriate, all things that resonate with me. Charlie Day is a national treasure. Danny DeVito, I love him. Again, so many jokes that are off color. You could not make that show today, which is a lot about this list. Love Always Sunny. 3, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I just talked about it. I love Larry David. The dude's a genius. He's one of the best comedic writers of all time, period. And it's got a great cast. Richard Lewis is so funny. Curb. 2, The Office US and The Office UK. I'm blending the two because both are extremely funny for different reasons. You have Steve Carell, who's just a phenomenal actor, extremely cringy, funny in the American version of The Office. In the UK, you have Ricky Gervais, who's one of the best stand-up comedians of all time, fellow atheist, shout out, and will make fun of anybody, anything, for any given reason if he wants to, which is the way we should, and he doesn't worry about offending people. Again, love all that he stands for. Both are extremely different, but both awesome. And number 1 is Seinfeld. Seinfeld changed network television. Seinfeld made episodes that you never saw before. It's a literal show about nothing. They make fun of the show inside of the show. It sparked careers. It's so uniquely. I was watching Seinfeld before I did the show tonight. The Junior Mint episode, great one. You realize the name of the title and you go, I'm going to watch this episode. It's Seinfeld. It's been on TV for 30 years and yet it still remains so popular today. You didn't ask for my top 5 sitcoms. I'm giving it to you anyway. That's my top 5. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Have a great next couple days. We'll be back with you on Friday. Until then, enjoy the weather. Keep it classy. We'll talk then.